There has been a lot of concern recently around the Dubai property market, and most of that concern is linked to the current conflict involving Iran. As an international advisory operating for over a decade across the globe, naturally we've had a lot of clients the past few weeks all asking the same question. Is Dubai still a safe place to invest in property right now? And more importantly, should they wait? My name is Kash and I'm a sales manager at One Investments based here in Dubai for over 20 years. In this video, I want to break this down properly. Not following the headlines and not following emotion, but rather following structure, facts, and my own personal experience. Let's start with what is actually happening right now. There is no question that the current situation has created short-term uncertainty, not just in Dubai, but across the world. We've seen disruptions across the region, airspace issues, volatility in financial markets, and a general slowdown in decision-making. And this is important to understand. Property markets are not just driven by supply and demand. They're driven by confidence. And when confidence drops, activity also slows. And this is exactly what we're seeing in the market in Dubai right now. Buyers are taking longer to decide, and some transactions are being delayed. Negotiations are becoming slightly more flexible in certain parts of the market, and this is the short-term reality of what we're dealing with right now. Now, the next question is more important. What does this actually mean for the Dubai property market moving forward? Listen, short-term movement and long-term direction are not the same thing. Dubai has actually been through multiple global and regional shocks before. The 2008 financial crisis, for instance, or the global pandemic, or even regional geopolitical tensions that have occurred in the past. And each time the pattern has been consistent. A short period of hesitation, followed by recovery. And post almost every single case of uncertainty in the UAE, exponential growth. And right now, we are in that first phase. Hesitation, not decline. That distinction matters. Now let's look at what Sirius Capital is actually doing in this market, because Sirius Capital is where you as an investor get the real signals of what is really going on behind the scenes. Despite the current uncertainty, institutional money has not disappeared from the market at all. Blackstone, one of the largest investment firms in the world, recently committed around $250 million into a UAE-based opportunity. That's not fiction, that's fact. That's not retail money, that's long-term capital making a calculated decision to continue investing in the UAE. We are also continuing to see family offices and private investors from Europe, Asia, and the wider world maintaining exposure to Dubai real estate. Not necessarily rushing, but also not exiting. And that tells you something very important. Serious investors are not reacting emotionally. They are adjusting pace, not changing direction. Another useful signal is behavior within the market itself. Not everything is slowing down equally in Dubai. Prime areas, they remain relatively stable. Branded residences and high quality developments from top tier 1 developers are still attracting demand and the prices have not moved. Where we are seeing movement is in the secondary market, in ready property. And this is where opportunity can actually start to appear. Some sellers are becoming more flexible, not because the market is collapsing, but because sentiment is temporarily softer. Softer from the huge highs that we've had over the last couple of years. This creates what I would describe as a window. Not a crash, but a window, where well-informed buyers can negotiate better positions and strike better deals. Now, it's also important to be balanced. There are, of course, in this sort of environment, risks. Tourism and short-term rental segments will experience continued pressure if regional travel remains affected. Global investor sentiment can also shift relatively quickly, and liquidity can tighten temporarily in uncertain markets. Ignoring these risks would therefore be irresponsible, but overreacting to them can also be equally damaging, because most of these are short-term variables, not structural changes that bode well for someone who has planned ahead. So the real question becomes this: how should you behave as an investor in this environment? The answer is actually not that complicated, but what it does require is a lot of discipline. Firstly, do not make decisions based purely on headlines. Headlines are designed to capture attention, not to guide investment strategy. They're designed for clickbait, not advice. Secondly, focus on your original objective. If your plan was long-term investment, then that plan has not changed just because of short-term uncertainty in this market. Thirdly, understand that timing and opportunity are often linked to moments like this. When markets are completely calm, pricing is usually less flexible. The big tier 1 developers don't strike deals and they don't give away any incentives. However, when uncertainty appears, opportunity often follows, but only for those who are really prepared and ready to take advantage of that opportunity. Let me put this very simply. Right now is not a time for panic. It is not a time for blind optimism either. Rather, it is a time for clarity. If you are prepared, structured, and clear on your objectives, this market can offer strong opportunities. If you are uncertain, this is the time to learn, observe, and refine your thinking. The worst place that any investor can operate from is a place filled with emotion, either fear or urgency. Both of these lead to bad decisions. Let me finish with this. Dubai is not immune to global events. No market in the world is. But what it is one of the most resilient real estate markets in the world. And resilience doesn't mean no volatility. It means the ability to absorb shocks and continue moving forward afterwards. And this is what we have seen historically, and this is what we will see with the market in Dubai again. If you want to understand what is actually happening in the Dubai property market and how to navigate it properly as an investor, then follow this channel and stay connected. We avoid the headlines and we focus on the facts and also my own personal experiences having been in this market for such a long time. In the next video, I will break down whether you should buy property right now or you should wait. And when you do decide to make a move, it will be based on understanding and not hype. Thanks for watching.